Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. I'm Christina. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to another video about the network marketing to coach pipeline. Today we're going to take a look at somebody who was in the top 5% in doTERRA, and that person is now a coach, an alignment coach, and is still somewhat pro MLM, but also sees the downsides and also sees the risks in network marketing companies. It is really contradictions left and right, something that we see a lot with network marketing coaches. So we're going to take a look today at somebody who was in doTERRA and what she has to say, what her coaching business can do for people in the industry, and why it is so different compared to when she started her doTERRA business, which is totally not her business. Big thank you and a shout out to Vanessa Chats or Pink Moon Witch on Instagram for pointing this video out to me. I will link her socials down below, Instagram and also YouTube. Go ahead and check that out. It is really great content if you're interested in anti-MLM. Everything will be linked down below. Thank you again, Vanessa, for sharing the information with me. I really appreciate it. A big thank you and a shout out to the channel members. I appreciate your support a lot. Thank you so much. A big thank you and a shout out also to everybody who subscribed to the channel. I always film in bulk on the weekends. That's why I can never really react in time to the things that happen on this channel. But not too long ago, we hit 3,000 subscribers, which is really amazing. And I wanted to say thank you. It is really cool to see that this community grows, and it makes me really, really happy. So if you're a new subscriber, hello and welcome. Thank you for being here, and a thank you and a big shout out also to those who have supported this channel and have subscribed to the channel a while ago and are regularly here, back each and every week, twice a week. I don't know why you do it, but you're here. So hello and welcome, and I appreciate your support. Let's get right into the video. The sun comes out. Wow, it's a sign. It's a beautiful Saturday, and I have to use the afternoon afterwards because I need to get outside. I need to do something. I poured myself a coffee so that I can go and run some errands later because, like a Duracell rabbit, I have to do stuff. And I might get myself another coffee from Starbucks because probably a cold coffee. And then I need to do some grocery shopping. I need to go to the drugstore, and then I'm just going for a walk, starting to relax and really starting my weekend. It has been the heck of a week. This year has been the heck of a year. And then on many Saturdays, I filmed these types of videos. So let's get started with the video. I did speed it up a little bit. It's at 1.25 speed. And yeah, let's get into this.
Start off with the big question of who am I, which is very interesting. So from the perspective of human design, this is definitely something that has always not necessarily been a challenge for me, but based off of like who I'm around and what I'm doing, I share different sides of me. And so through this podcast, I want to be able to share all of it so you can kind of see the wide scope and the range of all of the things that I have done. Backtrack to before I had children. I was a high school teacher and also got my master's in school counseling. And shortly after that, I was 24 when we decided to have kids, and then I became a stay-at-home mom. I am a mom of two, my son Peter, my daughter Sophia. At the time right now of this recording, my son is 11, Sophia is 9. I am Slovakian, and so staying at home in Europe is actually very common. It's just totally different than here in the United States. In Slovakia, people get 3 years of maternity leave, and so I just sort of fell into that role. And so while yes, I do have a master's degree and also a degree in health, I'm not teaching in a school, but what I do use is all of the psychology and all of that stuff into what I do now. And so when I first became a mom, that was the role that I fell into. I did get lost in motherhood. I definitely also struggled with postpartum depression. I didn't realize it at the time. After a year of the mom role, I realized that there was still something within me that was really missing. And it was sort of this, what about me? Like, what about the time for me? What do I actually love to do that I've stopped doing? And it was interesting because I had a friend at the time who was the one who pointed this out to me. And she was like, well, what are your hobbies? And I realized that after I became a mom, there was so much of myself and my life that I gave up to become a mom. And one of the things that I loved doing was actually painting my nails. And I stopped painting my nails. And this was like the biggest aha moment for me of, holy shit.
Wouldn't be for me. I'm the kind of person who gets stressed out if they paint their nails. My nails are also never really done. I don't go to a nail salon regularly. There are birds fighting in the trees outside of my... hello, it's spring. Oh, they're not fighting. Excuse me. Nasty. Do that somewhere else, please. I'm filming. This is something that I cannot relate to. Painting your nails because it is comforting or soothing to you, or because it's a hobby. Painting my nails is something that is very stressful to me because I want everything to be perfect. So if I paint my own nails, it's just going to be light colors. And I actually, if I ever want a dark color, I go into a nail salon and I ask them to do that there for me. They always think like, it's going to be a big job, but it's just like, no, I'm actually good. Could you just paint my nails? Because I want that to be perfect. If it's a dark red, or if it's a purple, or if it's black, or if it's blue, that's really when I go to the nail salon. And it's just normal nail polish. It's nothing fancy. I don't like acrylic nails or anything, fake nails in general. I'm quite happy with my nails, but that's what I do. So it's fun to see, and it's interesting to see what somebody thinks is a hobby. But I think it is very relatable for her to say, when I became a mother, I kind of got lost in motherhood because it is so easy to cater to that and you forget the things that you want to do. And for her, it was painting her nails. And just adding to what she said before, it is really not that uncommon in Europe, in some European countries, that you stay home with your kids for an extended period of time. In Germany, we also have the ability to have maternity or paternity leave for 3 years or up to 3 years. In other countries, it's less. The Nordics are even better equipped when we're talking about childcare. If you give birth to a child, you stay home for the first year, then you have the chance to stay home for another year and for another year, and your job is safe for you. So when you return back to the company, your job is still there for you, but of course you have not insignificant financial cuts from 1 year to the next year to the next year. And you also need to alert your employer in advance that you want to stay away for a certain period of time. That has to do with the company having to plan. So it is not that uncommon here. I wasn't aware that it was the same in Slovakia, but yeah, it's the same in Germany. I know that my Spanish colleagues, they have a lot less maternity leave, and in other countries as well. But I think it's a good thing if you want to have children that you also have the ability to stay home with your kids. Nonetheless, most people are not able to stay at home with their kids if they just have one income then. And a lot of women, they go back to work earlier, I think for various reasons, but of course also financial reasons, because they do need to substitute something. They do need to bring something to the table financially.
I need to go paint my nails. I remember hanging up the phone and being like, I'm going to literally go and paint my nails right now. And I did. And that was like actually the way that my journey began. It was something as simple as that aha moment of, my nails aren't painted right now. That is something I always used to do and love. I became a mom. I stopped caring about myself in a way because I put all of my effort into my son at the time. So anyways, moving forward, there was always this part of me that was like, what about me? Fast track into Sophia, once she was born, same thing, kind of doing the whole mom thing, all of the stuff, but still there was something within me that was just missing. And I remember at the time, how many years ago this was, there was a lot of like network marketing going around. And I remember a friend of mine giving me this opportunity saying, I have all these people and I can help you build this thing and we're going to, we could do it together. And so I decided, okay, you know what? I would love to have a little bit of extra income. That was the other thing, right? You become a mom and you put aside everything. It was even, my career, the income, and I wanted to contribute to my family.
Classical predatory pitch, right? You're a mother lost in the sauce. You have to cater to 2 young children, but you also want to do something for yourself. You want to contribute financially. And who is there? A fellow network marketer friend who has just the solution for you. And that is why network marketing companies and those pitches are predatory. That's, I think, the perfect example.
So anyways, jumped into network marketing. Horrible experience. It just did not, it wasn't what I expected. It was promises that weren't kept. And so anyways, I wound up, yes, making a little bit of money, but it wasn't the right company, wasn't the right fit. Then I wound up joining another network marketing company. And this one was for essential oils. But the way that I started was really wanting to incorporate more natural solutions into my life and for my kids. At the time, I was struggling with a lot of anxiety. And so when I heard that specific oils could help with anxiety, I started to think to myself, like if I could use it for myself, I wonder if I could use it for my kids. And so I jumped in with the product first.
Yeah, that's horrible. She was in doterra, and I mean, she has pictures. I have to blur out the kids' faces here. She has pictures where she pours no, she really pours essential oils into some mixer to mix with some liquid. Please don't do that. That is really, especially for children, that is really dangerous. Just because doTERRA and Young Living claim that their oils are safe for internal use, you can poison kids and also weak individuals rather quickly with this. Poison Control in Australia specifically warns to not drink essential oils. So be very, very careful about this. And I think this is also the typical network marketing route. I was in a network marketing company. It wasn't for me. It wasn't that the system wasn't for me, but the products, the company didn't work out. I didn't make a lot of money. But then I fell in love with other products and I wanted to do the best for my children. Lots of the oily huns say exactly that. Like the products, they wanted to do something for themselves and for their children, and that's how they got into doTERRA. And yeah, please don't feed essential oils to your children or your pets. That's actually dangerous.
Not thinking about a business opportunity. I just wanted to help myself. I wanted to help my family. And I know that they're effective, and they work, right? I've heard the testimonials. So anyways, dove straight into that. I loved it.
They're effective and they work. I've heard the testimonials. The subjective testimonials from people in doTERRA, yeah, those are not proven to work. Those are essential oils that you are supposed to smell because they smell nice and they can help in an aromatherapy way. Those testimonials from doTERRA huns and happy doTERRA customers are just subjective opinions.
And at the time, I don't remember exactly how Sophia, actually, she was around 6 months old and my brother was getting married and I wanted to lose a little bit of that postpartum weight. And so the question that I asked myself was, I wonder if there are oils for that. Yes, there were. And so I started this little concoction and I wound up actually losing a significant amount of weight because I started targeting my metabolism and really working on the natural solutions that would help my body. When I wound up going to Europe that summer, I had so many people asking me like, oh my gosh, you look so amazing. Like, what are you doing? And I naturally just started sharing what I was doing and realized, oh my goodness,
The audio fluctuates. I will try to solve this as best as possible in post and editing. I cannot leave this uncommented. I cannot go to the next part without commenting on it. I cannot leave it uncommented. I have a comment about this weight loss thing. Please do not take essential oils because allegedly you can lose weight. I am sure that she believes that there was some frickin' doTERRA essential oil that helped her lose weight after 6 months, after having a baby, after pushing a baby out of your body. Essential oils do not help you to lose weight. We know what we have to do to lose weight, and I suspect that she very likely took care of that she watched out what she ate, that she very likely moved her body regularly. And I understand if you have a wedding or a big event coming up, you want to look and feel your best, but also if you just pushed a baby out of yourself, give yourself some grace and do not rely on essential oils, please. Ridiculous.
Now able to make a little bit of income with this. So I started selling the essential oils, started doing that. It was retail, probably not the most effective way to do it. And then when I got back to the States, I decided to really look at the compensation plan, figure out how I can maximize it. And I did. I wound up like within a year shooting up to the
Essential Oil Educator. That is a worthless title. Sorry. It's like me calling myself any educator. I cannot remember anything at the moment, you know? I want to be funny, but it's not working. Why? Because I'm tired. That's why I need a coffee. It's been a week, all right? Essential Oil Educator is a worthless title. This is somebody who's interested in natural remedies, like she said, and in essential oils. That doesn't make you an educator. I could be a BS educator. Oh, I could be a guinea pig educator. And very soon also a cat educator, because I now have so much experience with cats that I almost feel like I'm an expert myself. I did cat sit a friend's cat in Hamburg. The cutest little bean. If I'm allowed to show a picture, I will insert it here as well. If not, I will insert it and blur it. Be odd. And I'm also going to take care of my niece's cats very soon. I will cat sit them though at their home. So I could call myself at this point a cat educator. I'm not, but I could call myself a cat educator, just like somebody in doTERRA can just call themselves an essential oil educator. Come on.
To the top 5% of the company. I have thousands of customers on my network marketing team. It was absolutely phenomenal. Little did I know that network marketing opportunity would be the stepping stone to entrepreneurship. I love network marketing. Okay. Let's just clear the air in terms of that. Even though I had a really bad experience when I first started getting into it, it is something that I truly feel is phenomenal. It's an additional way to create income. And also, there are specific things that you need to look at when you step into network marketing. Do I think that there are things that happen in specific companies or with certain people that don't know how to sell in a way that feels aligned? Yes. Do I feel like there is like this bro marketing sometimes and cold messaging that gives people kind of a shitty feeling when they're being sold to? Yes. And also, that's why I'm here, because I know that there's a different way to be able to sell, to launch things, to talk about a product that you love, right? It would be the same way as if you were, you went to a restaurant, you loved it, and then you recommend it to a friend. That's how easy sales can be. But we start getting in our head about it. We start overthinking and overcomplicating because we're so attached to the sale and to the result.
Wild. Wild, but not uncommon. I love network marketing. I had a bad experience, but then in my second network marketing company, I was successful, and I totally believe in it because you can do network marketing in a really good and ethical ways. There are good restaurants, there are bad restaurants, just like there are good MLMs and there are bad MLMs. What they're always missing is the essential point. If you go into a restaurant, you go into a restaurant to get food, to get drinks, to have a wonderful evening. You're not getting offered a business opportunity. When you recommend a restaurant, you just recommend a restaurant. People going out for a fun time, good food, good drinks, or bad food and bad drinks. You're not pretending that you're offering a business opportunity. I would say that very likely close to 100% of the people who enter a restaurant also get food and drinks. And if not, then they're not going to pay for whatever is happening there. They're not offering a business opportunity, and you do not have to recruit people into joining you in the restaurant so that you can get served and so that you can get bonus payments. You don't need to recruit people and more people to keep the restaurant alive. In a network marketing company, most people lose money. It doesn't matter how you approach it. Network marketing is not new. It has been on the market for, what is it now, 80 years or something? Amway is the reason why network marketing companies legally are still able to exist. Most people in network marketing do not make a profit. And why is that the case? Well, because it's not about the selling of the products. If that was the case, more people would be able to actually make a profit, I think. It's about recruiting a lot of people, and the market for network marketing companies is saturated. The recruitment aspect is more important than the selling of the actual products. And that is something that network marketers are hardly ever open and honest about. You need to build a big team, otherwise you will not make substantial money. The same is true for doterra. Most people in doterra also are not able to make a profit. They have a very, very strange compensation plan where they're not even able to give us a rank split up. This is how much people made in the first rank, second, or third rank. They give you very obscure numbers. In doterra's income disclosure statement for the United States for 2024, they state that doterra's entry-level US wellness advocates represented 77% of all US wellness advocates, those are the market partners in doterra, in 2023, and 30% earned a commission. Entry-level US wellness advocates who received a commission averaged $30 for the year. That means that most people in doterra are at the lowest rank and they made $30. That means that most people in doterra lose money, and that is the company that she is so fond of. Doesn't matter if it's a great opportunity, if it doesn't matter if it's a great company, if it's great products, if you have a great leader, if you have a great team. Most people, also in this so great company, lose money. And then doterra continues that the mid-level ranks of Elite and Premier, approximately 18% and 5% of US builders, averaged annual commissions of $2,850 and $6,964. Those are the people who are at the middle of the compensation plan, and that is the meager amount they make. That is before taxes, that is before expenses. And then, because I believe the numbers in doterra are so abysmal that they cannot really show us all of the ranks, they start with the higher ranks, with the leadership ranks, to show us the average annual commissions from silver up to presidential diamond. So we do not even have the accurate numbers split up by ranks for the lower ranks. 62 62.1% of doTERRA leaders are at the silver rank. That doesn't mean that it's 62% of people in doTERRA. It is most of the leaders, so silver and up, that are at that rank. They jump through so many hoops to make their income disclosure statements look and sound so much better than they actually are. And they still look shitty if most people only make 30 bucks in a year. And most people are at the lowest rank. And these are the numbers for the top ranked people. Then Gute Nacht Marie. Then doTERRA, also by their own numbers, is not a great company. And why am I pointing this out and why am I ranting about this? Because yet again, it doesn't matter what network marketing company it is. You cannot do successful network marketing because you change your ways, because you are more ethical. Yeah, not cold messaging people might be nice, but still, most people also in doTERRA lose money. It is because the industry is at fault. It is because the industry is designed to fail most people financially. Whereas when you go into a restaurant and you order food, you get food. Not comparable.
That might be a separate podcast for another time. But back to the whole network marketing journey, and the reason why I feel that this is such a stepping stone for entrepreneurship. And for me, it was because I noticed that so many people inside of network marketing and inside of my team, they were doing all of the same things, right? Like we're taught, be duplicatable. You need to duplicate yourself. And I always called bullshit on that. I was always somebody that was like, this doesn't make sense. And yet I still followed what other people were doing. And that to me was the lesson that I needed at the time. It was actually following other people and trying to be the good girl and listen to the rules. That was the experience that I needed in order to break free. And so once human design was introduced to me, I mean, this was about 8 years ago, it catapulted me into a totally different healing journey. So through network marketing, I started really understanding my human design. I started experimenting with it. And then I started coaching people on the side. I started seeing what was not working inside of network marketing. And I started having a lot of people come to me being like, show me your ways. How do you do this? How does this work? And so I started looking at human design and how we can really integrate it into what we were doing with network marketing. And it was working. It was actually phenomenal. And I loved it.
But aren't you also then as a coach promoting duplication? In doTERRA, everybody was doing the same thing. I was doing the same thing, although I know it was BS. But in a way, at least that's how I read it, I was forced by my uplines to do the same thing because they were the ones who were knowledgeable. The leaders are the ones who are being praised in network marketing companies, and most people don't dare to speak up because it's a cult-like environment. And now in coaching, we also factor in the human point, the human factor, but you're also kind of trying to duplicate that. So you're also in a way creating clones, although you might tell them, hey, you need to be your own individual, you need to be your own human. In the end, you all have to do the same tasks. And that's why the network marketing posts look and sound so oddly familiar. There's a Monat HUN. You can be sure that 30 people who work in the sphere of that Monat HUN look and sound the very same way. You have 30 people in doTERRA. They appreciate and they praise each other. You can be sure that these people will very likely do the same thing. And if you take a look at coaching programs, while they're preaching maybe individualism, they still look and sound very, very similar because you do try to duplicate what your coach tells you you should do, or your team members, or your upline, or the corporate side of the company. So duplication is essentially something that they're all aiming at, but they're failing at it. Not necessarily because they fail, but because the industry fails them. That's just what it is. Network marketing is an industry that is designed for most people to fail. You cannot out-individualize or out-duplicate a system that is designed statistically and mathematically for most people to financially lose money. There is no way around that.
And there was also a little ping there to start my own coaching business, but I didn't have the courage to do it at that time. And so I just stayed. I stayed doing my own thing in network marketing. And it was absolutely a phenomenal journey. I still to this day have my network marketing business and it creates passive income for me, which is wonderful, but I'm not actively building it as I was, how many years ago? I stopped about 4 years ago. So throughout the entire journey of network marketing, and one of the things, there was one pivotal moment that I want to share with you. It was when I crossed the stage in front of thousands of people to be celebrated for an accomplishment, which was hitting a specific rank. And I remember it felt so incredible to go up on that stage. But when I came back to my seat, I had somebody who was in my upline ask me this question. And she asked me, what was like your biggest takeaway? And I didn't have an answer for her right there, but I remember sitting down and reflecting on it. And the answer that I came up with was, I felt so empty. And I realized that I didn't want to do it alone. What I built was built from myself. It was built with this, I'm going to go and reach and achieve this goal and nobody's going to stop me. And I realize that a lot of the things now that I teach, right, are the things that I learned throughout my journey. They were things like, did I do cold messaging? You bet I fucking did. And did I learn that that's not the way to fucking do business? Absolutely, right? It doesn't work for everybody. And so I did all of the things that you typically shouldn't do. And that was a part of my experience. And yes, did I have success doing it? I did. But it felt empty to me. It didn't feel aligned. The energetics weren't there. And so that's where I knew I needed to shift. I could have continued, right, doing things because I was getting results. But in my body, something felt off. As I continued through my journey, eventually in 2021, this was the pivotal point inside of probably my entire life, was when my dad tragically passed. And I realized when I left that hospital room, there was this energy of, what am I waiting for? Like, what are you waiting for? I wanted to start my own coaching business. I wanted to sort of branch out of network marketing, keep everything that I've created, but also do my own thing, create my own brand. And I remember when I shared this with people, they told me that I should wait, that it didn't make sense to do that right now, that I should wait until I hit a higher rank, that I should wait until I have the audience built, that I should wait until, whatever. And I didn't. I followed what my gut was telling me, which was just fucking get started. Just take the next step.
That happens, I think, many times when people experience a really traumatic situation, like losing a parent, that they think they need to do something else. And that is probably a wake-up moment. Unfortunately for her, to start a coaching business in network marketing, that's a route I cannot follow. But it also shows that just because you're considered a success story in a network marketing company doesn't mean that you feel successful or that on the inside you are successful, because this is absolutely a useless thing. Network marketing is useless. It's a way to push products upon your own distributors, upon the people in your own team, and occasionally somebody on the outside. But it is a very hollow thing to do. And that's why a lot of the top people, I'm sure she's not the only one, feel actually hollow. And just imagine you have to do this for years. Recruit and sell, recruit and sell. Then you're up on stage, you're being praised, and all of your team, all of the people can break away just as quickly as you recruited them. No wonder people are exhausted and feel hollow because they don't have time to recharge. Even when you're in the, what did you say, top 5% in doTERRA, doesn't mean that you feel fulfilled. And then she was looking for fulfillment because she wanted to do coaching, and she started that although she wasn't where she maybe wanted to be or where other people told her she should be because of her father's passing, which is a very, very sad moment, which is always something that is, I think, good. If there's anything good in those tragedies happening in somebody's private life, I think it is a good way to reflect on the things you really want to do. I think that's one of the positive sides, that we reflect on our actions and what we want to achieve more clearly, at least for a certain period of time after somebody's passing. That's how it was for me, at least. But then unfortunately, she went the coaching route. That is sad. I wish she would have just stopped network marketing and she would have realized they're all the same. Doesn't matter. They're all the same.
And so I did. And I remember I hired a VA, first of all, because I needed help with stuff, with graphics and all of the things. And I created my first ever offer, which was a human design in your business bootcamp. It was a 5-day event. I had like almost 50 people join it. It was absolutely phenomenal. And this was the start of my journey. I had, after that, like a $3,000 launch with it moving into a next program. And everything that I did was also because I had hired support. So I did have a coach who was helping me alongside, and she had given me a little bit of structure. And it was interesting because when you start to make decisions in your life and, really timeline jump, that's what we like to call it, things start to align. Things that you would not even think about, right? So I had posted in a couple of different groups, hey, I'm looking for somebody who has branched out of network marketing, has kept their network marketing business, but created their own brand. And within a day, I had a couple people, comment on that post. And intuitively, I can kind of feel into the energy, did a little bit of research, kind of like looking at people's profiles and all that stuff. And I found somebody who, perfect, let's do it. Hopped on a call, and I wound up asking her just out of the blue, I was like, what was the company that you were with? It was the same company that I was with in network marketing. And so it completely shifted everything for me. So I had a basic framework. We did it. I followed everything. And it was something that really catapulted me into that next phase of entrepreneurship, which was really about bringing my passions to profit and doing what I love, right? As we were saying, this is a journey. If you're a mom and an entrepreneur, it's about creating balance in your life, juggling mom life, business, and then also your personal life. your time? What is the time that you do for you outside of business, outside of mom life? And so balancing all of that. So anyways, wound up branching off out of my network marketing business into my coaching business. And here we are today. And so much has transformed over this time. And now I have a membership platform, the Decondition Academy. I've created so many different courses and masterclasses, and I've become a breathwork facilitator during this time. That was one thing that I also learned when I did branch out into my own coaching business. I was teaching all of the human design information. And something that's really important to me is, if you are completely consuming information and not taking action, it's just going to create clutter and chaos in your mind. And I am definitely somebody who is a huge advocate for integration. It's not about what you know, it's about what you do with what you know. And that's just how you're going to create shifts and changes inside of your life and inside of your business, right? I believe that if your external world is not a reflection of what you want to see, then it's time to go to the mirror, look inside and be like, okay, what do I have to shift inside? With the course that I had originally created, it was called Your Inner Compass. And what it was about was going through all of the human design centers. We were talking about doing different integration, all different kinds of practices. But one thing was missing, and it was this deeper embodiment. And so that's when I did wind up branching out, and I had asked, a friend of mine, hey, do we want to do a collab? I can do a human design thing. Why don't you come in and you can do breath work. And so I started off with a collaboration. Fast forward, it then turned into a completely different program. We launched other things. It was absolutely phenomenal. And within a year, I think the program that we created together generated over $24,000, which was absolutely phenomenal. It was called The Playground. We launched that together. And it was a really, really beautiful experience. Human design, if you're not familiar with what human design is, pretty much it's a combination of a bunch of different things like astrology, the chakra system, bunch of different, right? All of that kind of stuff. And really what it's used for, it's like your soul blueprint. When you're born, it's like you have a clear slate. And then through our life, right, we become conditioned, we become programmed. Parents, siblings, the school system, the government, anybody who has an influence over you, right, starts to shift your morals, your values, your beliefs, and how you operate. If you feel, right, that people pleaser syndrome, if you abandon yourself for the comfort of other people, right, if you do things that aren't really in alignment with how your body naturally operates, right, we want to get back to your blueprint. A lot of us are operating, especially in business, from learned behavior. The body keeps score. Everything is embedded within us. We just have to learn how to trust ourselves again. Along the way, we've lost that self-trust, right? Self-trust muscle. It's almost like building a muscle again.
And people are supposed to do that in the Decondition Academy. Decondition yourself from toxic network marketing and all of these, look into yourself. I'm not a fan of astrology. I don't believe in chakras. I do believe that other people believe in that. And I'm also comfortable having discussions with people also in my personal life. I just recently on a business trip had a discussion about astrology. I don't mind if other people believe in that, but I don't believe in it for myself. I believe in other things. Let's just really take a look at this Decondition Academy with breathwork. Did she say breathwork before? To be successful in a network marketing company, to be successful in network marketing in a good way. She still is in doTERRA and she's still operating the passive income, whatever that means. Either she still has a team and she herself is not actively recruiting anymore, but she's focusing on coaching because very likely it makes her more money. But then she has a team and she still profits off of her team. So she profits off of their work while she herself is not doing work anymore. If that's the case, then I find that really shitty because that just means that you're squeezing more out of your team's efforts and your team's work. Maybe she means she's selling products here or there. That's, I guess, a different story. But all of this inner work, looking inside to be successful in network marketing, to sell oils and to recruit people into an oily MLM. And if you're not in doTERRA, exchange that for another network marketing company and for other products. All of this to sell and to recruit.
Right? That's why when we look for external validation, we're trying to see how somebody else is doing something. And in our mind, it makes us feel good. And so human design is really about getting back into our body. So when I even say I help entrepreneurs grow a body-based business, that's what I mean. You can, yes, feed your mind what it needs. Your mind is always going to be looking for the right way to do things. But a lot of the times we say yes to things, it feels off. And it's like, why is this happening? So when you bring human design into play, you can look at that and realize that, oh my gosh, I've been operating from the shoulds. I've been operating from the conditioning. I've been operating from the shadow. So this we call like your not self. It's your not self theme. And when we look at human design, there's so many different components to this, but one of the biggest pieces is your signature theme. So we have 5 energy types, right? Manifestors, reflectors, projectors, manifesting generators, and generators. And typically what happens, each one of these has a signature theme. And so when you're feeling that signature theme, the peace, the satisfaction, the surprise, the delight, the success, you're in alignment with your body, with who you are, with your blueprint. When you are feeling your not self theme, the frustration, the bitterness, the anger, that resentment, right? That is a sign and a guiding post of just something's out of alignment. Something is not right. And this is your opportunity, simply put, to use human design in one of the easiest ways to just pivot. That's your sign. And then you can dive deeper into your chart. There's so many different elements. One of the things that that's my superpower, is simplifying the hell out of human design so you can take actionable steps with the information and shift right away and apply it inside of your business. It is something that comes super natural to me. I've taken a 1.5 year long training in human design. And not only that, it's something that I integrate every single day in my life, in my business, with my kids. Every single launch that I've done throughout my entire business has been from a place of embodiment through my human design, through the trial and error, looking at what works, what doesn't work. And so that's the other piece to human design that's so important, is it's about experimentation. Ultimately, it's you building self-trust all over again with yourself. It's this relationship that you get to look within, and really, it's not about following another rule book. That's another thing that I want to make sure that you understand, right? You don't get your human design and then condition yourself more, feeling like you are doing something wrong if you're not following it, right? This is really about tuning into your body's wisdom, feeling into the energy, feeling into, right, the signature theme and the not self theme, and just allowing that to be the guide for you as you navigate things in business. And so I love being able to bring this to my clients and just to the world, for people to understand that it doesn't have to be so complicated. It can actually be simple. And it's what I go through inside of my membership. It's what I go through pretty much in all of the things that I do. The human design component has been such a game changer. If you're looking for more of a way to, go through all the complicated stuff with it, I'm not your person. I'm here to simplify it for you. I'm here for you to understand that you can get by with just the basics and it completely transform your life. You don't have to know the conscious and the subconscious and your sun and the moon and all of these things and what gate you're in. When you work with me, when you come into my space, we go basics, and even the basics sometimes can feel like a lot. So in terms of my breathwork journey, this is very interesting. So for most of my life,
she's already lost me long before. This is clearly not for me, but breathwork, yeah, I'm out of here. What I find interesting is that she's preaching authenticity, or that she wants to teach human design to bring humans back to their authentic self. And that way they are going to be able to be more successful entrepreneurs. But yet she still believes in an industry, in network marketing, where authenticity dies. There's nothing authentic about being in a network marketing company, selling the product and recruiting people, because you're doing that with the ultimate goal to sell something, to make a profit, and also to recruit people, to also sell them something, an opportunity to also make a profit. There's a disconnect between this belief in authenticity and network marketing. Those are money-making schemes. Those are money-making machineries, and authenticity has nothing to do in that company, in doTERRA, in network marketing in general. It's a money-making scheme. And just because you are more authentic doesn't mean that you're more successful. You screw people over, whether you believe it or you don't believe it. But if you recruit people into the company, most people on your team will lose money. It is what it is. And no human design and no authenticity can change that. Because across the industry, the standard is lousy when we're talking about success in network marketing.
I have always had people tell me, like, you need to breathe. You need to breathe. I have been diagnosed with ADHD, and the reason why I realized this and how I realized it was through breathwork. And so when my dad had passed, there was an opportunity for this free breathwork that came up. A friend of mine had messaged me and was like, hey, I'm working for this chick, really cool. You would love it. You should join it. Great. So it kind of worked out. She was doing a free thing and I wound up joining. It was something I've never really experienced before, actually, at all. I realized, like, holy crap, like, what is this? This was the most incredible experience, because for the first time in probably my entire life, I actually got out of my head. And I never knew what that actually felt like. I've always been told, like I said, breathe, try meditation, try to ground yourself, try to calm. I didn't know, like it just never worked for me. And this breath work was different. And it was an active form of meditation. And it completely shifted everything for me. So there was another program that she wound up launching after this. It was called Liberate Your Body. It was a 4-month commitment with breath work every single week. 90 minutes, meeting with the group. Holy shit. That completely transformed my entire healing journey, because it was, first of all, just a commitment to myself and realizing that how many of us don't show up for what we really want, right? And doing this while also having 2 kids, being committed to my personal journey, my spiritual journey, the connection with myself, and also knowing that that was building that self-trust muscle that I was talking about, right? Knowing that in my body, I could feel that this was a full body fuck yes, that I need to do this for myself. I get to do this for myself. And I chose that. I chose to be a yes to myself. And I showed up every single week live for these breathworks. After that, there was a certification program that came out of it. And I remember being like, oh, is this the moment? Am I supposed to like now get certified in breathwork? And I was a hell no to that. I was like, no, I do not need to go down this rabbit hole of becoming certified for this at all. Definitely not. But I was interested in what the program contained in terms of really learning more about myself because of the way that everything was structured. So I wound up hopping on a call with Lydia, who is the owner, and decided that this was actually something I really wanted to do. Little did I know it was really actually a certification and that I would become a breathwork facilitator, but I joined with the intention of it being more for my own personal evolution, my personal healing, being in a space connected to others that wanted to do the same thing and really deepen the connection with my body, with myself, and see what happens through that.
That can be so dangerous. I know that I have a bias specifically towards breathwork because Heidi Powell, she was the ex-girlfriend of Rachel Hollis' ex-husband. I know, very cluttered. Dave Hollis, who tragically passed away not too long ago. And she also said that this really wrecked her and that she started to do breath work, that she started to do those courses. And in those courses, she for the very first time experienced a breakdown, which was amazing because she was able to focus on her body, and then the breath work instructor built her up again. Now imagine a human being having a nervous breakdown or a breakdown, and then you have an unqualified, non-therapist, non-psychologist to build you up. That can be so dangerous. And if you do breath work because you want to consider or you want to rethink your entire life, then that sounds oddly familiar, and I just find that extremely dangerous. Focusing on your breath and focusing on taking deep breaths, not the superficial breath that we do, I think is really, really good. Breathing into your stomach, especially women, I learned, don't do that a lot, but I don't think that's what we're talking about here. So I have a bias towards that, I completely acknowledge that, but it does sound dangerous to me. Can end up so dangerous. If somebody's not a therapist, people breaking down and they're not able to build them up, not properly work through trauma, everything looks fine, but they're not fine. Ugh.
So fast forward, this program was an entire year. I wound up becoming certified in breathwork, and it was once again the most powerful thing. And this was the missing link that I was talking about in terms of embodiment with human design. And so now that's what I integrate. I have the human design component and I have the breath work, and together it is so powerful. The human design part is great because it gives a little bit of information for your mind to grasp, right? And then we have the breath work component, which is for you to be able to get out of your head and into your heart, right? Into your body, bypassing the thinking mind, landing in your body, being able to process the emotions that are coming up, being able to release emotions that are stuck and stored in the body, right? Especially with traumatic experiences and trauma that we hold. Breathwork is a powerful way to do this because you bypass that thinking mind, you get into your body, into your heart, you get connected. The ego leaves, the chatter leaves. That's how you do this work. That's why it's so powerful. That's what breathwork does.
And that's why it's also so dangerous. Please do not do that without a therapist, an actual professional. That can be so dangerous. These people don't have the ability to work you and to work with you through your trauma because they're not trauma experts. They're not therapists. Does this sound dangerous? It sounds very dangerous to me. Absolutely not.
It eliminates that voice. So you land in your body, you access such a level of inner clarity and peace And you will always receive exactly what you're meant to in a breathwork session, which is why it is so phenomenal. You can't go in with an expectation. You can have an intention. It's very different than an expectation. You just release the expectations, you land in your body, and you're going to receive exactly what it is that you're meant to. The intention of this podcast and why I've always wanted to create a podcast is because I do have so much to share. And I want it all in one place. I like bite-sized things. I don't listen to 1, 2 hour, 3 hour podcasts. I am a busy mom of 2 kids, taking care of my household, bringing my passions to profit, growing a business, right? Busy entrepreneur. I don't have time for all of those things. I would love to, but realistically, I have to figure out like, what is it that I want to actually prioritize? And so I know what it's like to be busy, or I should say, and when you have bite-size pieces of content that are easy to digest, easy to consume, and that can move you forward, that's what I love. That's something that I am about, and that's what I want to create, is something that is going to catapult you into the next version of yourself, something that is going to activate you, something that will initiate you, that will give you that clarity to be able to move forward, and just for you to be able to build your self-trust a little bit more. And I think that in this world, one of the things that everybody is craving is community and connection. And so I do feel that through a podcast, I can reach more of you, I can reach more people, right? And really have the impact that I desire, not only for me, but for you and just for the world. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next episode. And as always, take what resonates and leave the rest. We're not here on, there's no hierarchy here. And that's just something super important for me to just remind you of. We're all in this together, and you are your own guru in this entire journey. I'm just here to help you see that. So see you in the next episode. I'm Jen Rambala.
And all of this to sell oils, essential oils, and recruit people. Well, you don't just have to do that in doTERRA, but to be successful in network marketing. I cannot relate to a lot of things she said here, but I think there were also some interesting insights. This really is somebody who is still pro MLM. She still has her doTERRA business, which is totally not her business. And she still has passive income, whatever that means. But she also clearly showed and said that there is a lot of issues in network marketing, like MLM burnout and the feeling that you're not fulfilled, although you're at the top of the company, you're in the top 5, and you can still feel hollow. Walking across a stage being praised because you achieved a major goal doesn't mean that you will feel fulfilled. And quite frankly, I understand why, because you're doing BS work. This is really screwing people over. Other people losing money so that you can make a profit. I always feel that people in network marketing somehow feel or understand that ultimately is the outcome. I do believe people in network marketing are considered leaders and they have a lot of people on their teams. They see the numbers, they see the data, they see the statistics in the back end, and they can understand that, yes, most people on my team do not make a profit. Now, they need to twist that somehow in their mind to make it make sense, but I do believe that those people, the leaders at least, at some point do understand how toxic the network marketing culture is. And also this pressure of duplication. Your upline tells you something that you need to do. The corporate side tells you something that you need to do. Maybe a coaching program tells you the exactly same thing. Aggressive duplication and cold messaging is something that she also did. And she just did it and she was successful, although she knew it wasn't good. That is horrible. It sounds like a really, really bad idea. And then at some point, she wanted to switch to authenticity and to teach that to other people as well via human design and breathwork. Like I said, I cannot relate to this. I find this actually quite dangerous. But nonetheless, how are you going to be authentic in MLMs when you still hold on to the same things we hear over and over and over again? Like, they're good network marketing companies and they're bad ones. There's nothing authentic about that. Network marketing is built for most people to lose money. There are no good MLMs. There are only bad ones. Because if they weren't, then they would just be ordinary businesses. Businesses where people can actually make an income and can actually make a profit. Thank you again to Vanessa Pink Moon Witch on Instagram. Her contacts will be linked down below. Thank you for pointing this video out to me. I always find that interesting. If you have ideas, things you would like for me to react to, then please send them my way. You can either DM me on Instagram or you can upload something that you have recorded, for example, to your Google Drive. Then you can share it with my email. Everything is always linked down in the info box down below. If you want to send that my way, then I'm happy to take a look at the these things. Thank you so much once again for your support. I hope you did like this video. Let me know your thoughts, what you think about this MLMer's route from MLMer, network marketing, to network marketing coach and breathwork coach. If you like these videos, then hopefully I will see you in my next one. Until then, cheers!